to hit the go live button.
I left the Volkswagen.
Oh no.
I'll be back.
Okay.
I'm used to just leaving it in.
So what's Emily doing in New York?
Visiting her girlfriend. Having a great time. She's at the Statue of Liberty right now.
Oh, that's. I must have been 4 years old when my dad took me there. When we got to the point where we got up to the torch,
Yeah.
and I started crying.
Aw.
Oh,
Well, I haven't been to New York since I was 12. And at that time, you couldn't climb up to the torch. It was blocked off. And then right after that, like a few years later, they had that big rebuild. And so it was scaffolded off for years, right, as they were reconstructing it. But yeah, it's funny. I talked to the kids about the last time I was in New York, there was no internet.
it does make it sound like a long time ago.
Right? Just the late 1900s, as the kids like to call it. You were born in the late 1900s. Well, we're 9 minutes away from starting, and I was enjoying our story so much, I felt like I wanted to already start.
I was going to say it.
But if somebody comes across our channel, they'll see we are already started. We're waiting for Jim to come back, though, from the parking lot. Now he's in the bathroom.
We watched Oppenheimer last night.
Oh, that's good.
We saw it in the theater. Unfortunately, we could not understand a word they said.
Hey, in the living room or in the theater?
No, in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
His hearing problem. He was pretty pissed and he didn't enjoy it. But he said he was ready to watch it. A movie, we can always stop and do it 2 nights, but we just don't.
With subtitles and
yeah.
Visually, it's an amazing movie. And it's not all his fault. You know, Christopher Nolan is famous for making these just hard to hear movies, just crazy dynamic ranges and weird sounds. You know that, was it Tenet? One of his movies, and Batman as well, has this note. Just like 90% of the movie, it's in the background. It's just supposed to be screwing with your psyche as you're watching the movie. It's like,
annoying.
Yeah, it's like, what are you trying to do? Give us tinnitus? It's like,
we watched Oppenheimer last night. So we were talking about Christopher Nolan.
Oh, the movie, yeah.
The other thing that's outstanding is the Madison. Incredibly.
This TV series?
Yeah.
Have not. I've seen it advertised now, but I haven't looked at it.
Guess everybody's moving to Montana from New York now.
Right? Time to go. Well, they're giving it over to the immigrants. So.
Where? There are some areas in Mexico, I think it's north of here, that are mountainous, that are cooler in the summer. Do you know what the name of it is?
Well, you know, as you go down south, you get higher up in the mountains.
Yeah. Alamos is one.
Yeah.
Was it cooler in the summer?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. Here near
Fall.
Lake, that's very south. That's very expat community too.
Yeah,
but I think I like Cuernavaca. I think that's beautiful. That's south of Mexico City.
Durango.
Guanajuato is up in the hills. I would expect it. Guanajuato is with a G. Guanajuato. I think that's right. I know. Wait, Guanajuato. I think there's a J in there somewhere in the middle.
Durango, you'll need a heater.
Yeah, we can't drive to New York until we get it.
Yeah, or at
Or
least
get it
get
all.
permission for all.
Oh,
We can't because they're residents.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right. You do
yeah.
need a Mexican plated car.
both of you.
Mm.
What-
That is the
Oaxaca?
frustration.
Is
You know, we've heard
Oaxaca on the coast?
Cuernavaca.
Oaxaca. O-X-A.
Oh, Oaxaca,
Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Yeah, it's down on the Gold Coast, I think. If I'm remembering right. It's down on the West Coast.
Because I thought it was a mountainous art town.
Mm. Well, isn't Oaxaca a state?
Could be.
I don't know. I'm the worst person for that kind of stuff. My wife would be sitting here shaking her head, just, you've lived here 30 years. It's like, hey, I know who the president is. And there's probably half a dozen other things I know. Hey, it is almost that time. What were we just talking about, Jim, before you had to go get your keys? We were in the midst of conversation over something. That was, I was talking, you were talking about your upgrade successful story, how you have
Oh,
successfully,
long before, but yeah.
yeah. And then I was going into the problem that I've been having recently that I think you might really appreciate about the NAS, because I moved it over to my Macintosh.
Yeah, you told me.
Macintosh is sharing the files just fine. It's a exFAT formatted external hard drive plugged into the Macintosh. If I go to it from my Linux machine, it sees it. If I go to it from my Windows 11 machine, it sees it in File Explorer. But if I go to it through MediaMonkey, or if I go to it through iTunes on my Windows 11 computer, it cannot see the contents of the drive.
Huh.
It's crazy. On my Linux machine, I'm running MediaMonkey under wine in a bottles with a mapped hard drive. You follow me? I have taken the share with a UNC, with a Universal Network Connector. That's the name of the machine plus the share as a path. I've taken that and I've mapped that to a Windows drive, the M for media, the M drive. And then I'm passing that to bottles using wine, because it's Linux, it's not Windows. I'm passing that through bottles to wine. Wine is running it, sees the drive, and shows all the files to my MediaMonkey installation, perfect on my Linux machine from the day I set it up. The Windows 11 computer still does not see this file share in MediaMonkey, and you can see it in Explorer. If you go to your Windows Explorer and you traverse to that share, there's the files, there's all the contents right there. I can double click on a song and have media play it, right? And I've spent the last 3 days with an AI and research material trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And the AI is convinced it has to do with layers of security on SMB, on Samba servers, Samba protocol, that Microsoft has engaged in Windows 11 through updates. And what's happening is, because it's an exFAT drive, this is the AI telling me this, because it's an exFAT drive being shared off of the Mac OS protocol, when MediaMonkey or iTunes asks for those files from that space, it's using a lower security, a lower tiered API. Whereas Windows 11's File Explorer is using the highest level of security you would imagine, because it's Windows, because it can just give it that kind of permission. But it has not given it to third-party programs. And I buy all of that. I mean, that just sounds like Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
But not for security. They can say it's for security. I think it's just screw up third-party programs.
Well, they have 11 has a real hard time talking to 10.
Yeah, you had that experience too.
I never did get it to work.
Oh,
And I changed every setting. I researched it. It never worked. All I came up with was, I'm not the only one. There's tons of people out there.
okay. So what were you sharing?
A folder.
And was it on an external hard drive?
No,
It was an internal hard drive. Was it formatted as exFAT or as NTFS?
same as the.
In-
I made a folder on the desktop.
Oh wow, that's a whole nother level of problems. Yeah. But what I was going to say about the Macintosh is I made a folder on the desktop I shared from the internal SSD drive.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, see, I can't.
Well, this is from the Macintosh.
Yeah.
And what the AI says is when it's from the Macintosh formatted drive, the Macintosh knows how to handle all the securities for that drive when Windows asks for it, which might even be the problem with Windows 10. Windows 10 may not know how to handle all the securities that Windows 11 is asking for. But when I share an external drive that is exFAT, then the Macintosh doesn't know how to satisfy the securities asked by Windows 11 because exFAT doesn't support those securities. You follow? So the Macintosh operating system's like, well, here, take this, and it's getting nothing. It's just not working with these third-party programs. And I found the most ridiculous way to work around it because all I want to do is put songs in my phone. That's all I'm trying to do. I want to have my songs out there on the network, and I want to be able to access them and edit them and organize them from whatever computer I happen to be on. But then I need to put them into an iPhone. And up till recently, the easiest thing for me to do is plug in a cable, go to MediaMonkey, and drag them over to my iPhone, and they would just organize themselves. If MediaMonkey can't see the files,
Why is that blinking?
Then you can't do it.
then it can't do it. Well, this is blinking because it's just sitting on my profile. It's supposed to be flipping and flipping.
And we're 10:02.
Oh wow, we're supposed to be in a meet right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
10:02.
started it. I have no idea what MediaMonkey is and everything else.
We go to Vegas, but we're going to go up through New Mexico and
MediaMonkey is
Colorado.
a program that's
Just-
used for
Ah,
organizing audio tracks. Hey
hey
guys,
there, Scott.
sorry to
Hi.
be late. I was deep in story on this end and forgot to hit the go button. So if you're interested in what
Yeah.
we're talking about, we were on YouTube.
Well, I wondered about that because I saw it on Facebook and I commented on your Facebook thing saying I was the only one in the meeting. And then Chester joined and I'm talking to your parents. So
Well, we are here now and happy to have you guys with us. What is going on with this thing? Oh, this format's all off.
You broke it already?
There we
There
go.
we go. No, I didn't break it. It's working.
I think
It's all
so.
working. It's all doing what it's supposed to do. I hope. There, that looks better. Welcome. This is the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions, and if you have computer issues out there, I'd appreciate you getting a hold of me. I see Jim and Bill and Cheryl and Chester and Mom and Dad are with us. We've got Jim and Christine here in Tequila's with me. I've just finished breakfast, so you don't have to listen to me eat. And we were just talking about this strange problem that I've been having with running a file share off of my Macintosh and accessing it with my Windows 11 computer. And I am so done with Windows 11 at this point. I can't believe that it works perfectly on my Linux computer. It obviously works perfectly on my Macintosh computer because that's where I'm trying to do it from. But it will not work perfectly on the Windows 11 computer, and the Windows 11 computer is the computer that is native to the software. The MediaMonkey software that I'm running is a Windows-based software. So the fact that it runs on top of an emulator on Linux successfully, but doesn't run in Windows like it's supposed to.
Did you contact MediaMonkey?
No, I'm not paying for the software. I'm using the free tier. I should probably contact them though. Yeah, just say, hey, what's going on?
And it's free. They're going to tell you how to fix it, hopefully.
You know, it's not a bad suggestion. I think I might do that. At the very least, somebody else has got to be having this problem. Kind of like you're at least I wouldn't be alone in having this problem. Well, and I believe the AI when it says it's part of Windows 11's security protocols, and Microsoft has done this intentionally. But here's the part that drives me crazy. is even though I can't see what's on the drive, I have full access to the drive through Media Monkey. So I can create folders. I can do damage to the share blindly. I'm literally a blind man, like bouncing around a room, bumping into stuff. Right? That you wouldn't do that for security. You just do that to screw up third-party programs. Like, oh, you can't trust Media Monkey because it just creates garbage on your drive. It's like, no, it doesn't. It's trying to do its job. You're the one that's screwing up the security. But if you want to hear the beginning of that story, you could go to the YouTube video. In other words, I've given up on that. I did find a solution, which is the most bizarre solution ever. iTunes, I was able to find a way I could drag things into iTunes, which is a typical way iTunes works, is that if you have a location that has media on it that you want to organize in iTunes, you just have to drag that and drop it into iTunes, and now iTunes is aware of where that stuff is. On a Mac, it's even prettier, because if you move that stuff around outside of iTunes, well, the Mac just knows where it is. So you don't have to worry about reassociating. It just keeps track of where it went. Well, so I was able to drag it into iTunes, and the Media Monkey has a function for importing from an iTunes directory. So now it knows where everything is on that shared drive because it imported the XML library from iTunes. I found a just ridiculous fix for this problem. And I don't trust it either. That kind of thing could just get broken very easily. But it's working at the moment. I got 2 new albums in my phone.
Thank you.
By who?
I don't know if you'd know them. All These Witches. No? I did put some Fleetwood Mac in. I bet you know that. Yeah, I found that in my library. Didn't realize I had Tango in the Night still in my library. I'm like, oh, those are bangers. I like that song. Well, we are the San Carlos Computer Club. Where's my document here? And I did send out a document of possible topics that I typically follow as a guide. But as usual, and I got a bunch of stuff on this, some stuff left over from last meeting, which was a virtual meeting because I was in Phoenix. I don't want to ask Google anything. I want to find our meet. Where the hell did our meet go? There it is. Cool.
Did you see where Ubuntu uses more RAM than Windows 11 now? The last update?
Did you send that to me?
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
I did see that.
That surprised me.
I wonder if they got a payoff from Microsoft.
I don't know.
But you know, because I was just recently describing how all the updates for Windows since Windows Vista have required less computer intentionally. That was part of their marketing, was that no matter what we did, it has to run on less computer, not more computer, to save face. Microsoft was saving face. So Windows 11 is the first since Windows Vista to do that to people. People never got a chance to appreciate Windows 8 because they hated the interface. But what was amazing was that it was all running on less computer than Windows 7 was.
Mm-hmm.
People were so caught up in what are these tiles and where'd my start menu go and how come I don't know how to turn off the computer? I mean, you know, stuff. They literally moved the steering wheel to the other side of the car and changed the way the doors open. But nobody got to appreciate that it was actually running faster and better. Yeah. I mean, I could appreciate it. People thought I was crazy. I'm like, well, if you know how to navigate the operating system, then what's your problem?
Yeah.
It runs great. So then every preceding version would run on less hardware until Windows 11. Windows 11 was the first one, and they artificially inflated those hardware requirements.
More crap running in the background.
The heater's on.
Yeah.
Still cold, huh?
Oh, we're getting a lot of cold in here.
Mm.
Why do I keep losing this meat?
I just lost.
It should be right in front of me. Here it
We
is.
lost it too. It might be the internet.
No,
Yeah,
for me, it's where I've got it laid out in Windows on the laptop. I started so casually. I wasn't quite as rigidly set up as I normally would be. I think I got it though. I think I got it now, even though we're not showing up. Why aren't we showing up? Sorry guys, technical issues. Huh. No, it's not coming up. Weird. Moments ago it was capturing everything and now it is not.
So does anybody? What are you looking for?
Yeah, has anybody brought any topics, anything before we might get into topics I've brought?
You might mention that thing about the Windows 11 being everybody's using it. Most of your people.
Which one? The one I was just talking about?
The one that I told you about. The reset the.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know, Jim came in talking about how he finally fixed his Windows 11 upgrade problem. If you haven't been aware, Windows 11 has been having all kinds of problems upgrading. The last several updates were, well, and Apple's doing the same thing too, right? The last several updates have been to fix the previous updates.
Yeah.
They put out updates that broke stuff, and then they had to put out updates to fix the broken updates, and then they had to put out more updates to fix those broken updates. And so I would have to say almost the last half dozen updates on both platforms have been to fix things that they did with previous updates. Well, Jim has been trying to get an update installed that he could not get his computer to install forever, and he finally figured it out by using in Windows 11 basically a one-button reset. You found it in settings.
You go to settings, system, and look for.
I would normally start just at settings and type something like reset or restore up at the
Yeah,
find.
you go to reset.
Reset. So like,
recovery. You go to system, recovery, and the second button down, or the second bar you can choose from.
Recovery options?
Yep. It says fix problems using Windows updates. It reinstalls your current version of Windows. Your apps, files, settings will be preserved. You didn't lose a thing.
All right.
And it just, you click one button and it's done.
I'm not aware of any problems.
And it even tells you to, okay, I'm done. I'm going to reboot. Your system comes back up. You log in, everything works.
So now you're under recovery options. This is reset this PC, advanced startup. It's reset this PC, the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then under that, it gives you the option.
The second one down, it'll give you the option to fix problems without resetting your PC, which didn't work for me.
Keep my files, remove everything. Those are the options. Keep my files, remove everything.
No.
Where are you?
Windows 11, the newest one.
Yeah, I'm in Windows 11 right now. I'm doing it as we speak. Here's system recovery right here.
Oh. That one, the second one down.
Fix problems using Windows Update. All right, reinstall now. So this was something that was not available, at least in Windows 10.
No, not at all.
And the way you could do this in Windows 10 is you would download a USB drive. We were talking about this earlier today. So this is an in-place repair to Windows 11 in settings.
Goes back to like XP used to be.
Like XP used to be, that's right. So you could install in place and it would fix files that were broken that are running in the system. The only thing that was similar to this before with Windows 10, I would assume would have worked in Windows 11, is creating a USB drive from their media creation system, and then starting that in your desktop. And the big problem with that is that your computer has to be running. It has to, the problem you have to be solving can't be, I can't start my computer. Actually, this kind of suffers from that same kind of problem, but at least this is a one-button fix.
Yeah.
You don't have to go download anything. You don't have to create
all for
anything.
you.
It's just one button to reinstall the operating system. Jim says he got done with it,
And it all works.
and
great.
everything worked. Everything was updated. Everything was fine. Christine says she hasn't heard of an upgrade problem, and
I haven't, yeah.
and the reason you haven't, Jim's got homemade computers.
No, the one I had the problem with was a store-bought.
Oh, it was a
Yeah,
but
that
a
was
desktop,
brand new one,
a desktop or a laptop?
a little square box. That,
Oh, like a Nook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
the nuke box.
The Nuke box. So does that count as a built
Desktop.
computer? And because what I know about the way updates work with Windows is they keep profiles on people's computers. Name brand computers are much easier to keep profiles on, like the Lenovo 7. Yeah, some specific G20, G60 are much easier to keep profiles on. And when Microsoft sees that certain profiled computers are having problems with their updates, then they pull them out of the update cycle. And so it's very possible that you have computers that never experienced those update problems because it never got past their...
The other people that did have the problem.
That's right. They immediately started having problems, and Microsoft's like, we're not allowing these computers to upgrade. And the way they do things is there's a slew of updates they'll allow through, and then a slew of things that they're holding back on because they've seen problems in specific profiled computers. So it could very well be. I actually never saw the problems either, but I read about them online every day. In fact, it made me hesitant to install the next update because my stuff was working just fine.
But
So,
then you said the next one was going to be forced on you.
well, eventually it's all forced on you. And that's the biggest issue. It's one of the biggest issues with Windows 11 right now is this forced upgrade, which it's starting to look like they're going to hold back on. They've been doing, Microsoft's been, what's it called, the damage control, because they are losing market shares monthly. They're losing huge percentages of people using Windows 11. And it's interesting to see their approach about it because they're trying to turn around the message. I think they still think of Windows as being this figurehead for Microsoft, but really they make most of their money off of all the services they provide. So they really just need to, and they've been doing it, they've been encapsulating their services so that they're cross-platformable. You can use them on Macintosh and Chromebooks and in other installations, Linux installations. But the Windows product itself is just made people so unhappy. And now the latest is hardware requirements, forced upgrades, security issues with the recall feature they thought that was going to be the next killer app, and instead it's become the next like privacy nightmare. Yeah, all the tracking, all that stuff has just led to people looking other directions. In fact, if you had an old computer right now, we'd be putting Linux on it. We wouldn't even be trying to make a newer version of Windows work on it, because why would you? They're not offering anything. My story is a perfect example of how they're not making anything easier for you. They're making it's becoming much more difficult for you. So that's where we're at with that stuff. Just a follow up from last week. I'm still in lockdown mode. I have found one thing that has pestered me. I cannot get signed into one of my bank accounts in lockdown mode. They want to go off to a web page to do the authentication. You know how so many things now when you go to sign in, they don't use the sign-in that's built into your device. They pull up a web page and do the...
Yeah,
so
me.
Yeah, and they want to do that. When that comes up, it won't fulfill the page. It will. The page is there with nothing on it except an outline of where there's supposed to be stuff.
What browser are you using?
I tried it in all my browsers, but it's an iPhone, so it's all the same WebKit having and it's locked down.
We
So-
had to go to the post office for ID me because when
No,
I
you
took
don't
the,
have to.
no, well, they wouldn't accept the pictures I was taking.
Oh,
We don't recognize you, so we had to go to the post office. Show
see,
our-
clean your lens.
Yeah, right. Get a better camera.
I did it. His phone, my phone, the computer. I just
Did you offer to sit on the scanner?
yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
For the IRS and the Internal Revenue Service.
And
You
Social
get into both
Medicare
of them.
and
My
Social
wife couldn't get her statements at the end of the year. They had the wrong address
Okay.
and stuff. So we did it for her, and I said, "What the hell? I might as well do it too, so I can get into." I always got my mails, man.
So now that you can get into those services, do you have to worry about using a VPN?
No, I don't think so, because you're all.
Because that was the point, was a verification more than just geofencing.
And I put in what made it easier. I installed the app on the phone and set up push notifications. So for the verification, now it goes straight to my app with my fingerprint, and you're in. Is that you? Yes, it is. The computer works.
because you're using it on the phone to verify.
Yeah, the computer, and then the computer works.
And this is all the real ID stuff.
ID me.
ID me.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
different from the real ID, which is with your driver's license.
Well,
Well, that's what you take a picture of, is your driver's license, and send it to them.
Yeah.
You can get live chat, so you do space back and forth while they're talking. Hold up your license.
That was
Yeah,
different.
that's-
Yeah.
Oh, that's you. Okay, great.
Nick needs it to log into the VA.
That's great, though. Yes, this is me.
You match.
So I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds like it's a third party whose job is to verify your credentials and then make them available to the service you're trying to log in. In this case,
IRS
government.
will take it, and I believe ID me. You can go to all the porn sites too. But,
Oh, yeah, all this age verification stuff
Yes.
that's going on right now.
but
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's interesting. Well, ID me is the next. We should keep an eye on. Let's pin that up there for the next data breach. They're
Yeah.
probably the next one hackers are gonna get a hold of and dump your personal data out on the internet, because it's all gonna be in one place. That is the security nightmare that people are concerned with this age verification stuff that has come up, is having all that information being organized and stored and stewarded by organizations that don't have a very good track record of hanging on to that stuff. Hello, Fred. Welcome. I don't suppose anyone out there has brought any topics.
Good morning.
Good morning. You got anything, Fred?
No, I waiting for you to start and took my morning nap. So,
And that is the nap report from Fred. I have been holding on to topics. So if you're looking at my screen now, you're just seeing a lot of stuff that I've stuck in this document. I've actually got more than this, but I didn't want to overwhelm the document with stuff. We're still. Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, I have one thing I'm going to share. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what's going on, but I'll just tell you my experience. So we got the Starlink satellite dish. My connection seems really, really good all the time on it, except I've got something going on with my iPad. Since a bunch of updates, it seemed like we had updates like 4 or 5 within a week. And during all of those updates, somehow my battery is taking forever to charge. I keep it plugged in most of the time because it'll start at 100% after being plugged in all night, but it drops very, very quickly. And even though it's plugged in, it says it's charging, it's going down. So
Sounds like
my percent,
it sounds like it's working harder than it's supposed to be.
yeah, but the percentage, and I don't know if it's cords. I've tried different plugins. I've tried it in different places, but that's going on. The other thing that's happening is I'll be watching Netflix, and all of a sudden the series will freeze, and I kind of get booted out. So I tried to start it again, and it's not in my continue watching. It's not anywhere. And it got this notice saying, it appears you are using a VPN. Turn off this equipment, or some things will not be able to work as well. Consider turning it off or something. So I usually shut down Netflix. I shut down my ExpressVPN. I bring it back up. And if I reassign it to Canada, which is where I usually have it set because I'm watching my channels from Canada and stuff, and my Netflix show that I was watching appears again. So it's really, really strange. I don't know if it's the Skylink and the Express View aren't working together properly or something, but I keep getting booted off of the system.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you're getting a different IP address in the middle of what you're doing. That would throw off a VPN. If like we used to have that problem all the time with dial-up. Every time you dial up, you'd have a different IP address.
So maybe the Starlink is moving, like.
Well, maybe something's happening. Like maybe it's in its nature to bounce around a couple of different satellites in the same area. And and I don't know, it would be worth researching. But I would imagine if it had to do that, then by its very nature would have to give you a different route. And if it has to give you a different route, then that would throw off a VPN, because a VPN requires you having a consistent route for it to know where to route traffic. So, I mean, those are some thoughts about it. If you were on a DSL that was failing occasionally, or like I said, dial-up, then I would definitely think that was the case, because every time your DSL goes down, you lose power for some reason, and it has to come back up. There's a very good chance you're going to have a new IP address. And if you get a new IP address, then you're going to have to reestablish your VPN without a doubt.
Even though she's using ExpressVPN?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Restart it,
yeah.
I know Christine uses
a new connection. Yeah. Very similar to when you're using Smart DNS. Smart DNS has the same kind of issue. If you lose your IP address, if it gets changed, your wide area network, your WAN IP address, which is it's given to you by Starlink, or it's given to you by Telmex, it's given to you by your internet provider. If they change that, then your VPN doesn't know where to route your traffic, and you have to reestablish your VPN.
So, Christine, do you use a VPN with your Starlink connection?
I have Roku, and it's on the mesh, which has a VPN, NordVPN. However, my TV is directly to the Starlink dish and is not on the VPN. The only way I can use Netflix here for some reason.
Yeah, Scott, I'm having a hard time hearing you. You might have to translate that for me, please.
Try that again.
Well, there's two ways to hook up to Starlink. Either the mesh hooks to Starlink, or you go directly to the dish. So if I go directly to the dish without a VPN, I can get Netflix on the TV. But the Roku will not connect to the dish, but it will connect to the mesh.
Because your Roku is a US-based Roku account, is that right? It's not a Mexican Roku.
That's true, but Netflix is Mexican. The Mexican logon.
Yeah.
But it always worked in the US. I don't know. whatever I can get it, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Fred, did you have something to contribute to this particular, or can we finish this? You have something else?
No, I'm having problems with my iPad. My battery does not seem to last. I'd have to charge it at least twice during a day. And I don't know if it's related to 26.4 or what. It's just, it's one of those new and exciting things that somewhere around noon, my iPad goes dead.
You guys,
And I have,
I've just recently upgraded to 26. I don't feel like I got to choose, but maybe I was sleepy and hit the wrong button, but I ended up on 26. The one of the things that people have been complaining about 26 across the board, not just my computer or my iPhone 11, all phones, is problems with Bluetooth performance, disconnecting, random pauses in Bluetooth since the 26. And I'm only telling you this because one of the solutions that I think has resolved my issue was going into the reset menu in the settings of your iDevice. If you go into settings and you search the word reset, it will bring up reset all settings. And you'll go into the transfer or reset iPhone. This is, if you can look at my screen, this is what you would see in settings. And it's a bit ominous. It doesn't give you any guidance. But if you just press the reset button, it brings up a menu of settings that can be reset. This is not deleting your data. It is resetting the standard, the system settings. So this isn't resetting your pictures. This isn't resetting your email. What this is resetting is like your network stack. That's what helped me with the Bluetooth, which doesn't make any sense, but except to know that Wi-Fi networking and Bluetooth, whether they like it or not, end up being combined. Their radios end up being combined. They end up sharing the same space for settings in many devices. And by resetting it, all of a sudden my Bluetooth was functioning better. And I would encourage you guys with this update. In fact, one of the things is, this is a great topic, actually. It's one of the topics on my list. Is if you go down here, it talks about iOS 26.4 and 4 settings you should immediately change. There's an article here that has you exploring 4 very simple things to check and change in your iPhone 26.4 update. The keyboard reset is another good example.
I looked at that article, and the very first one, I started to do it and to go into it. And the settings and the information it gave me was not my experience when I went into the steps.
Well,
so then I tried the second one, and each one, it did not look the same as what mine looked like.
Well, I would verify that you are on 26.4 then. This is the reset. If you're looking at my screen, this is the reset I just showed you for resetting the keyboard. It's in that same reset area. And this fixed the problem I've been having even back with previous. At some point, when I typed in the word "the," it would be changed to "the" with an accented "e." No apparent reason why, except I've got 4 different languages on my phone, and so maybe it just inadvertently used the word for "t" from France as the replacement word for "the." But I reset the keyboard and that problem went away completely. And they recommend resetting the keyboard for everyone that is upgraded to version 26.4 because there have been so many strange keyboard problems. Apparently there's something new with the keyboard and you're better off just starting out with a blank. What the iPhone does, what I learned, is the iPhone is constantly learning how you type and what you type and why you type. And that data is stored in that keyboard settings. And they have changed how that algorithm works. And so the data that's in that keyboard setting could easily be getting thrown off in 26.4, and you're better off just to wipe it and start fresh. So I don't have a solution for you, but I would be looking at this kind of stuff. And what I would think is going on, if it's burning through battery, I would think that it's having an issue indexing your device, which is one of the first things that an iDevice does, or even a Macintosh device does. Right after it gets an upgrade, it goes and it looks for everything that's on the device. Normally, for about a 24-hour to 48-hour period, your device gets hotter than it normally would. The battery drains faster than it normally would, and it's during that process of re-indexing. And maybe there's a problem out there, specifically with iPads. I have not had that problem with 26 on my iPhone, but I was aware of it getting hot and taking more battery life when I first had it upgrade to 26. It has mellowed out since then. I feel like there was another point there somewhere. Maybe I'll go back to it. That elusive point that has just evaded me. Anyway, there are 2 articles in this document referring to 26.4, all the new stuff in 26.4, and the 4 things that experts thought you should just do immediately after upgrading to 26.4. So hopefully something in that can help you sort out what's going on. You might try putting it on a higher watt charger too, just to see how it behaves, because when you're draining battery faster than you're charging it, it means your computer is using more current than you're able to provide. It shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but that might be what's going on. Yeah, Richard, how you doing? Welcome. I see your hand is up. You're also unmuted, but I don't hear you. Does anybody hear Richard?
No.
I think your mic might be blocked by something. Now you're muted. Now you're unmuted. Still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No. You want to turn on your camera? We'll do sign language. No? Oh, I think maybe he's going to reconnect. All right. Well, I see Jim's with us too. This is a great group. I wish you could be here in person. I'm sorry I missed Bill and Cheryl last week.
We had a lovely breakfast with Jonathan.
Good. Well,
let me know when you come into town. You can stay in our guest room.
You hear that? You've got ample invitations for places to stay when you come.
Well, thank you.
In the list of topics I've provided, there's other, I'm not going to go through everything, but there is this article from PC Mag talking about, is your brand on this list? We discussed last week that it doesn't matter. If you've got one of these routers, which is all of these routers, they're all the routers. It's every router. Every router is banned. Every single router, because no router is built in the United States, except, ironically, Starlink. Starlink's the only router that is built in the, isn't that interesting? The only router that's built in the United States. So it doesn't have to satisfy the security scrutiny that the FCC is going to give every foreign-made router, because it already satisfies the criteria of being built in the United States.
But any router you already own is legal.
Yes, there is no illegal router. There's no such thing.
So if you want one, buy it now, because pretty soon
Well,
it'll get harder to get.
Well, do you buy it now? This is a real gray area. I haven't heard anybody arguing about this, But if you buy it now, what they're saying is there's grace period. Everything that's on the market right now is legal to sell,
Yep.
legal to buy,
Yep.
and will receive updates until 2027, March 2027.
I missed that part.
Yeah, by mandated 1 year of updates.
Uh-huh.
Do you buy it now, knowing that that producer can just stop with software updates in a year?
You can update it yourself with.
No, the producer has to produce the software to update it.
No, if you update it yourself with DDR.
Yeah, right. You got to go out and find that hardware and be your own
Install.
Yeah, we'll get to that point. But the point is, if you go out and you buy a Netgear right now, they actually have carte blanche to stop giving you updates on 2027 because that's what the FCC mandate is. Whereas before they didn't. Before it was up to them to decide when they were going to stop doing updates, and the updates were being provided because it was good neighbor. It's because somebody found a compromise in their system, and they're like, "Oh shit, we better fix this for our customers." Now they're able to just say, "No, the U.S. isn't accepting this stuff after 2027. This is not achieving the goal that it's supposed to." That's the biggest deal here. Is it's not making us safer. It's actually making us more vulnerable.
Sort of related. I have a router in the apartment. How do I connect that to the mesh system?
You would have to do it by cable. You'd have to pick one of your mesh nodes and use a cable from it to that other router.
And it has to stay that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And that would create another pocket of Wi-Fi under that router. So just to, cut to the chase on this article, the FCC routers could ban these brands hard. Is yours on the list? Yeah, well, yeah, because yours is made in outside the United States, so they're all on the list. But what's interesting is this article actually goes into Ookla, the speed test that like most of us use for testing speeds, and Ookala's system API is used in all these automated systems. In fact, if you go to the Telmex speed checker up until recently, I think that was using Ookala's code to do speed testing. And so one of the things about having the most popular speed tester on the internet is that they've collected the data of who's going and asking for speed tests. And so they've got a big archive of all the different router manufacturers, of the people. And so to cut to the chase, it's Euro, which blows me away. The Euro mesh system in the United States is the one the majority of people own. It is on the list.
Which one?
Euro, the one Amazon owns.
Don't like it, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. I actually am a fan of the hardware. I just don't like the incremental subscription for everything model. It was unfortunate because it actually married in. I used to have this thing about transactions, microtransactions. You're teaching my kids that it's okay to pay little bits of money for error. I don't appreciate it. It's like, and that's what they've done. They've made microtransactions okay, and so we all accept it now. Like I've got a service out there I paid for on a whim. I still have not canceled it because I don't want to sit down and have to cancel it. So it just is microtransacting me every month. Just pulling a few dollars from me every month. And this is exactly what I thought was going to be the problem with the new economy. And it has happened. And bad marketplace for teaching us to be this way. And this is kind of a very similar thing. We are to expect a router in the built in the United States to be considered safe. We are the mesh networks. What I was getting at with the microtransactions of mesh network is that the subscription model came along with it. Mesh technology did not need it. You can buy, this is where TP-Link has gotten so popular, is you can maintain your TP mesh link, your Deco link, or Deco link, depending on what country you're in. You can maintain that without any subscription service. There's no need for that. The Wise equipment can be maintained without any subscription network. And so, but with the rise of mesh networks, there was this rise in subscription services, and they feel married together. It feels like if you're going to get into a mesh network, well, of course you're going to pay a monthly fee for it. And that's not the case. There's no reason for the two to be associated, except it was the exact same time big tech could figure out how to get you on the hook to pay monthly for stuff. Anyway, if you got a euro out there, it's on the list, of course. It'll be interesting to see what goes forward with this. And here's my two thoughts. California has a law that things cannot be sold over $100 that cannot be maintained for at least 7 years. They have a right to repair software bill out there, not bill law, that requires all products that are of a value more than $100 in the marketplace to be accompanied with up to 7 years of technical support that includes documentation on how to fix things, parts in the marketplace to fix them, software to maintain them. I suspect this law, we are going to see a bump in router prices so that it hits that threshold. So it's subject to California law. Those mesh networks I was talking about, many of them sell for over $100. They typically, you don't get into them for $200. So they're already subject to the California law. So these things will have to pass FCC scrutiny, but they're also going to have to pass California scrutiny. And if you've already got these things, I would suspect they're going to get software updates because they have to pass California scrutiny. So regardless of whether the FCC says that's not a device that can be sold anymore, it's still a device that's going to have to get updates after 2027, or they're going to be not going to be in compliance with California law going forward.
Or they might just put that thing cannot be sold in California sticker on it.
Well,
Like they do to some of the
that may still be the case, but I'm referring to the stuff that was already sold. Yeah, the stuff that's already sold will continue to be updated past 2027 because of their compliance with California law. This is my hot take on it. This is what I think is going to, and what's really happened is it's one of those lock the door, lock the door, lock the door. Now let's figure out what we're going to do. That's really what's happened with this FCC stuff. There is no plan going forward. It is, let's stop everything and come up with a plan. And so that's what we're waiting to see happen.
It'll come to us, honest.
Yes. It's going to come in some form. We just don't know what form that's going to be. And they have put, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like burning a bridge behind you, right? like we can't go that way anymore. I guess if you take away all the options, more options will appear. But if new options don't appear, oh, and actually another one of my articles I brought here is all about building, or did we?
Ring the bell.
Soon.
Oh, I thought we were in a monastery for a moment. One of the options that I was talking about last week and the week before is I think this is a ripe moment for do-it-yourselfers to build their own routers. And it really, Jim was just starting to get into that a bit with DDWRT being router software that you can install on your own computer equipment. And this might be a reasonable movement. XDA Developers feels that way and has a whole article on how easy it is to turn one of your old computers into a router for your house. And this just might be the time. This might be the moment to get into this idea. I know a lot of tech people actually do this. I've always tried to work with consumer equipment because I feel like that's what my customers have to work with. I would never want to put together a system that a normal person wouldn't be able to administer themselves. However, if this is where we're going right now, this is a great thing to get into, is building your own routers. And so this talks about what's involved in that, the kind of software you might use, make some suggestions on purchases. If you are a real hobbyist with this kind of stuff, do-it-yourselfer, we may see a rise in building routers, and it may be something that I might be doing in the future here. Get a hold of a Raspberry Pi, get some USB Ethernet adapters, and just hook up a hub and be able to hook up some devices to it.
Is
Set
this
it
a
up
real
as
pie?
this is a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, that's the name of the equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an open platform for building on. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot more talk like this if they don't start coming up with the kinds of criteria that the router manufacturers are going to have to pass. I don't know how it's going to work. It's hard to even wrap your head around it, because even if they are foreign routers, they have to be able to pass updates. If they can pass updates, then at any moment they can be changed into a botnet just with a software update. And if you follow through with the security concern that the FCC is trying to address, then we have to look at every smart TV, right? We have to look at every smart doorbell. We have to look at every telephone. I mean, geez, there's an exemption from telephones. You know why? Because everybody has one, and none of them are made in the United States. Right? It's like, who has a TV set that's built in the United States? Every one of them has a Wi-Fi chip in it right now. Every one of these things. Your vacuum cleaners have Wi-Fi chips in
That's
them.
true.
This is not a reasonable.
Especially the robot ones.
They did this with drones. We talked about this last year. They did this with drones, and I think there's only, what is the one drone manufacturer that's been able to bring drones into the country still? But
DJI is the one that got banned.
Thanks, Richard. Hey, and you got your microphone working.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, they're the only ones that have been able to satisfy the FCC's criteria to still play in our market. And I would argue it at a reduced capability because of the concerns for security, that you could get a much better DJI drone outside the United States, which seems counterintuitive to what the goal is. But now they're trying this approach
What do
with
you
routers.
think the goal is, Scott?
Well, the stated goal is for security.
The stated goal.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, the stated goal is for security. And security, in cybersecurity, that's kind of like child pornography. It's like, yeah, we're doing it for the children. We're doing it for security. But there's got to be some thought behind that. There's got to be some technological advisor out there that's advising how to get to that place, and that's what we're missing right now.
Why do you think there has to be a technological advisor?
to get to that goal. I mean, if security is the goal, you need somebody that understands it to be advising them how to get there. It's probably one of those things, it's like a lot of these policies and decisions the administration's making. I keep saying it's like supervillain shit. If your goal was to bring down the United States economically, militarily, if you take all our defenses away and make all our information compromisable, then they're doing a top-notch job of it. I mean, if this was a plan, then some supervillain out there is winning.
Big G.
Big T.
I would hope that's not the case, but none of these decisions seem to lead us towards more security, better economy, cheaper prices. Well, you pick it. Every one of these things seems to be counterintuitive to it. And here we are in cybersecurity, something that's not making any sense at all. Richard, do you have any comments on it? I knew you were trying to talk to us earlier. Did we lose your microphone again? I heard just a muffle. I think we lost his microphone again. Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Oh, he's there. Okay.
I want to know how you get rid of your picture and just put your initials.
You just turn off your camera. All these people, none of these people want to be seen on camera. They're all camera shot. Hey, Cheryl smiles. my
Cheryl,
mom
we're not as
smiles.
attractive as you.
Well, sometimes Cheryl just makes her picture.
Sandy, Jim and I aren't shy, right?
You're a Gemini, says Nick.
So what else do we got going on? Building your own routers, I think, is going to be a thing. Linux on the desktop, I think, is actually a thing this year. I think Microsoft is just going to have to scramble. They can't do it. They just Ubuntu
is
is
using more RAM
Ubuntu is behaving like Microsoft.
without the spying.
yeah, that's what all that RAM went towards. All that RAM's to collect your personal information so it can be sent back to Ubuntu. None of this is true. This is just me riffing. Yes, Chester, your hand's up. We can't hear you. There you are.
Okay, I want to mention that I can really understand everybody that's on the circuit here and very easily understand them, except I can't understand you.
You're having trouble hearing me?
Understand.
There's something wrong with your microphone or my hearing, and I can understand about half of what you say.
Let me try switching microphones here. Maybe we got one that's not working right. Is this any clearer?
Oh yes, much clearer.
Okay. Maybe that mic has got an issue. It's down there somewhere. There it is. Well, I will switch to this microphone. Hopefully this will make a difference.
You're gonna have to switch meetings too.
Oh, are we running out of time?
3 minutes.
We've got 3 minutes. I'll open up meeting 2. I'm going to pull that off to identify which one of these is having problems, and I will go home and test it.
Upgrade it.
Upgrade it. Yeah, right. My $40 microphone package from Temu. I'm going to find a replacement microphone.
You might have an update. Do Flash for the firmware.
Where do I get any of that? It doesn't even have a brand on it.
Well, I don't know. I didn't look at it. Ask your buddy AI.
Right. It'd say, just buy another $40 microphone from Temu. Yeah, I don't know. It ran off of an assembly line.
There's a model number on it. That's what you look up.
All right.
Right at the top. Your finger's on it.
Does the model number do anything without a brand?
Yeah. I can't even read that. I can't even. I have to take a picture of it and increase the size of it. Oh, I can tell that there's more. Yeah, there's more output from this microphone than the other one. Okay. All right. What else do we got going on? Building your own routers. Did you guys see that this is an article talking about how data centers are on hold? Which is interesting since they're holding up all the parts for other computers. So if you're looking in the marketplace at computer prices and wondering why they're so expensive to replace your computer, it's because these data centers, these corporations have already pre-bought all the parts. We've talked about this before. Western Digital apparently has already sold all their hard drives, right? They did that before February. They had sold all their inventory for all of 2026. The inventory they are planning to produce, not already produced, but we're planning, has already been sold. These chips, memory chips and CPUs have already been sold to these data centers that are on hold, that are not getting created. So our computer prices have gone up in price, but we're not reaping any benefits from a data center because they're on hold, because we want them to be on hold, because we think it's ridiculous how quickly all this stuff's being put together for AI that's giving us very little value to begin with.
For anybody who wants a nice long read, that is the latest Ed Zitron. He says the crisis is here now. I personally believe it's more Q4 this year. but that's really just debating a few months. It's a very interesting.
I'm dropping this in our document right now. This is an article. I haven't read it. Rich is recommending it. The subprime AI crisis is here. I'm sticking it in our document right now. You want to summarize a little bit?
This is another very long
11, Scott.
piece, but it relates to what you're talking about.
You guys are sure
Warehouse.
dedicated to that hard off at 11.
It's it's worth the read. It's worth the read. I'm still waiting for Mr. Chester Stone's opinion about the financial shenanigans, but he'll get around to this at some point.
I have no idea. Press the light.
All right, I'm letting Fred into this other meeting. Jim and Christine are getting out of here. They've got other social things to do. They can't give me their time anymore.
Well, you can stop by the house. I'll give you time.
It'll come with a margarita, I hope.
Well, whiskey or tequila shots.
Okay. And a pool. I do recommend people move over to the other meet if we're going to continue, because we've only got 2 minutes left in this meet. If you need that address, I can drop it in our meet. I see Richard and Jim are joining us. Copy this and there is the link in our chat that'll take you over to the other meet. I am letting Sid in now. Is Cheryl and Mom joining us? Cheryl's here. Mom, do you see that link in the chat? You should be able to just click on this last link in the chat. Just go down to the bottom and open up chat with everyone. And there's a link right there that should take you to the next one. We're about to lose this connection. Less than a minute.
I'm lost.
Next to the red phone, chat with everyone. That'll open up the window. Bye, Mom. I lost my mom. I lost my mom. Maybe she'll find her way over here. Well, as you can see, these guys abandoned me. I'm all by myself in here now.
I can see everybody except your mama.
Right. No, everybody's online. Here at Tequila's, it's empty after Semana Santa.
Here's the very end of that Zitron. It's a checklist of, this is long too, but it's a checklist of signals that you should be looking for as this AI thing implodes, which it is imploding. It's good news.
All right. So you're saying at the end of this article, he's got a checklist of things that you should keep in mind. These are the signals that
right
this is
here.
going to
He says here, back in August 2024, I named several pale horses of the apocalypse, and after absolutely fucking nailing the call 2 years ago on OpenAI's big stupid magic trick of launching Sora to the public, I think it's time to update them. This is the list of the horses of the apocalypse. What's missing from what I copied into the chat is that all of those sentences that are indebted, those are bullet points. So any further price increases or service degradation from Anthropic and OpenAI are a sign that they're running low on cash. Any reduction in CapEx from big tech is a sign that the AI bubble is bursting and NVIDIA's continued growth only comes from blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Things falling apart, baby.
yeah.
You just
I think what this is, I mean, this is very expensive, very dangerous, has affected hundreds of thousands of people's lives, and what it really is it's like 3D on TV.
Yep.
It's much more detrimental than it was, but it is a flash in the pan to sell stuff, and popular culture has not gone along with it. But it's a huge cost that's come along with it.
Well, the money's basically run out now.
Yeah, the tech is going to stay. The tech has its place in areas.
Yes.
In coding, it's been exceptional. They predict the next things will be in law and in medical because it's very similar to coding. It's very structured, very rote kinds of information, and so that's the best kind of information to be worked on. So they think that legal and medical are the two next big ones besides software coding.
Yeah, but you got to have it's pay to play, Scott. And yeah, sure, benefits.
Well,
and if you were investing 10% of what we're investing in AI, it'd probably be just fine. But that's not the case.
Well, and that's not what all this is about. All this is about stock value. It has nothing to do with the progression of this technology and the benefits that we're expecting to get from it. It's all about inflating the idea of what these companies are worth, so that at
Correct.
the moment they're worth more money than they actually are. It's very similar to the tech bubble back at the turn of the century, which
I mean,
every time my kids say something like that, I feel so old.
The true Armageddon event, which I think there's at least a 50-50 chance is going to occur, is that the OpenAI IPO fails.
Right.
Well, he's trying to raise $1 trillion, based on $1 trillion plus valuation. Let's see if people this year, if the market this year, with everything that's going on in every other space,
in 2023, Stack Overflow
OpenAI is worth over $1 trillion.
Well, the practicality of AI has led me to leave this video, this YouTube, under AI Teaches. If you look in our document, AI trained on the internet, and now it's destroying it. It's absolutely the serpent eating the tail. This is a YouTube video that is very easy to follow, that goes into how the rise of AI content on the web and how it will be its downfall because it's training on itself and now it can't tell the difference. So it's slop teaching slop.
Correct.
So this is a great little YouTube video that goes into this and how we can't get to where we want to get to if we're allowing this kind of training to go on. Yeah, we need some governors on this stuff so that it is useful, so it is helpful. I was telling you about the keyboard reset earlier. I didn't realize that the iPhone was working so hard to understand the way that you type. It's more than making sure that your grammar is correct. It's more than making sure that your spelling is correct. It really is correcting the way you write into your style, so thinks the keyboard. Like pulling up a word cool instead of pulling up a word like great, because that's the way you would type, is what it's trying to do. Of course, in my example, it was failing because it was bringing up the French word for tea whenever I would write the word the. What else?
Well, it's all about surveilling the user too, because, for example, to use the example that you used, to refer to something as cool is to age yourself. That's not
profile myself
probably.
at the very least.
Say again?
To profile myself at the very least.
Well, exactly. We're getting an age that you're not young. You're not real young if you use the word cool a lot.
Okay.
This is all part of that.
In that respect, I think I shared with you that I had been using Gemini to do coding, and at the same time, I had been using Gemini to answer questions about my Subaru. And at the same time, I had written some stuff, and I wanted Gemini to analyze it and read back to me in a format that my daughters might understand, because one of them's fairly technically literate, and the other one needs some more explanation. This is what I had said to Gemini in previous chats. And these are separate chats. And here I am coding. I'm writing code, and I'm using Gemini to help me write code. And to be more personable, it keeps bringing up my Subaru. It keeps bringing up my daughters. I'm like, I haven't told you anything about this stuff in this chat. And that's when Gemini says, oh yeah, but we use a model to get to know you so that these can be more fluid interactions between you and the AI, so that the AI knows something about the way you like to receive information, the way. So it's profiling me from my Google account, regardless of whether it's a completely separate chat or not. It's got a profile it's going back to deal with me specifically, always, no question about it. They could, at any moment, they could go and bring up Scott's AI profile.
Does that bother you?
Sounds like something we should at least be aware of, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at the very least, it should be something that we're thinking about. I didn't read anything that said that. I mean, what I read was the AI told me what it was doing. I didn't read anything when I started using Gemini that's the way it worked.
Right.
Nobody's out there on Good Morning America explaining that's how this works.
Well, gosh, no. People might have problems with that.
Seems like what we could be looking at in the future, I mean, this is just a hot take, but I'm a marketer for a product in San Carlos. Why don't we get the list of people who live in San Carlos from Facebook? Great. Now let's generate some ads. What does Cheryl like to, well, what kind of ads does Cheryl like? Let's look at her AI profile. What kind of ads does Sandy Stimson like? Let's look at her AI profile. We bought those, right, from the data broker, because those are legally for sale in the United States.
I think the funny part, which I'm just going to urinate myself laughing, is when they start turning off these bullshit tools that people have become used to using, because they're going to get turned off, Scott. Well, right? You're going to go to Gemini.com and it's going to be blank. Now, maybe that's not the best example because Google, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I know exactly what you're saying. It has precedence. Microsoft has done it with their Office suite. They moved it to the cloud. They offered you a discounted price for a subscription service. Then they decided to make automatic backups only available to people buying subscriptions. Mm-hmm. So even though, I mean, like automatic backups in an editing program should be as natural as an automatic vehicle when you go and buy a car. It should just be a feature that's available. In Microsoft's case, it is a feature available, but but you don't get to take advantage of it unless you're paying a monthly subscription.
Well, and what you just described is bait and switch. They baited you with free cloud backup, and so every person is lazy, including myself, and they say, fine, I'll have free cloud backup. And then they're committed to that, and that's how their records are kept. And then you say, oh no, it's not free. That's bait and switch.
Well, I mean, there's some nuances in what you're describing there, but basically they've never made the automatic backup system like your document, version 1, version 2. You make a change to your document, you have to save it manually if it's stored on your computer. If it's stored in their cloud, that happens automatically, and that's the way they've done it. They used to have an automatic document backup system. You installed Office on your computer. You could set it to periodically, like every 30 seconds, make a save, or every time you make a change, make a save. You could just start typing and forget whether you needed to save it or not. But now, the only way to do that is to store your document in the cloud and store it in the cloud syncable space, and pay a subscription price to have access to that backup function.
So educate me, further educate me. Let's say I say I'm not going to pay. Do I lose access to all of those backups?
You lose access to the cloud version of what you've synchronized, and you lose access to the feature that is saving your document every time you make a change.
Can I go back to my old saves?
Yes, you can, but you do need like an Office suite to open up any of those documents created by Office. So you're going to have to get into like a LibreOffice, or you're going to have to buy a standalone version of Office, or you're going to have to use the very limited basic version that they're taking off the web. But they do have some mobile versions that you could open their doc. The fortunate thing in that respect is they've used an open document model, so it's not hard to find an Office suite to read the data. You just miss out on any special formatting.
So we're kind of in a model where the auto dealer, after you've bought the car, comes back and says, you know, you have to pay us monthly or your tires won't work.
Yeah. Well, that's, in fact, you didn't buy the car all out. You leased it right from the beginning. Unless you're going to keep paying that lease, nothing works. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, and because of these behaviors, it really is driving people in a different direction. Linux is growing this leaps and bounds this last year because of these kinds of behaviors. They've encroached on people's sensibilities just a little too far. I have an article in here. Basically, it's a little old now. It was the end of last month. But if you didn't know, Netflix is raising your prices again. Second time in less than 2 years. Every year. New pricing model now with Netflix. Because they can. This is in the US. Everything is up $1. Up $2. Up $2. Depending on what plan you're on. Still paying more for advertising. Because they can. They're also driving piracy. People are getting tired of having to pay one more fee. And so there's a rise in piracy right now. It is self-created. It's created by not making product. People are lazy. If you give them easy-to-use products at a reasonable price, they're going to go do that. And what they've done is they've made it unreasonable. They've made it difficult to use. And so people are starting to go back to privacy. People are starting to go to Linux because they want their own privacy. They've made it so difficult to have their own privacy and to own their own thing. People are willing to learn how to deal with Linux, and they're learning it's not much of a deal. It's pretty easy. I've got a Linux Macintosh Windows story for Richard that he's just really going to appreciate because he is the advocate for Linux in our group. I have been switching an old file server over to a Macintosh, and it's going to share a hard drive with my network. And the hard drive has music on it, and I just want to bring it up in my music player, Media Monkey. I started out this meeting talking with Jim and Christine about it, and the media player is running on my Linux computer under Wine, running in bottles. These are technologies that allow you to run Windows software on a Linux computer. I've got the file share mapped as a Windows drive being fed to this software through bottles. So it's the M drive. It sees all my media files, allows me to change it, allows me to touch it, allows me to listen to it, look up and change files on it. Works perfectly. Macintosh doesn't have a Media Monkey program, so I can't use Media Monkey on the Macintosh. I'd have to do some strange emulating thing there as well, but I don't really need it there. So on my Windows 11 computer, running Media Monkey native, it is a Windows program. It's supposed to be able to do this stuff. All its documentation says that it's supposed to be able to do this stuff. Under Windows, I can see my drive. I can see the files in front of me in a File Explorer window. Media Monkey cannot see the drive. Absolutely looks like a blank drive. It will authenticate. It'll ask for my username and password to get me into the drive. It'll see the root directory of the drive. It sees nothing in there. It says 0 files found. It gets worse. Media Monkey can be destructive. Since I've been able to give it a password and username, I can create files on that drive. Can't see them. I can create folders on that drive. I can't see them. You can imagine if you're using an application that can create and delete and move, if it can't see what it's doing, you're basically like a blind man bouncing around in a room. He doesn't know. You're fumbling around, possibly breaking things. And the only reasoning I can find for this is because of the way Microsoft has done securities for shared drives on a network. And the Media Monkey has to use a third-party API to find out what files are on this drive. It's different than Windows. Windows is able to use a much more robust version of looking at what's on the drive. And what's going on is it's a fat exFAT drive, that's how it's formatted, plugged into a Macintosh computer being shared as a Samba and SMB share. You don't need to know what all that means, except the Macintosh has to sort out what Windows wants when it asks for it. And when Media Monkey goes and asks for it, it's using this lower level API. The Macintosh is at a loss of how to send the right permissions because Microsoft has not provided enough of a robust asker for Media Monkey to use. The Macintosh doesn't know how to send back the information correctly. And in Microsoft's supposed way of making things more secure, they've actually just made it more dangerous for you to use third-party programs on the Windows computer. Why aren't you using Windows Media Maker? That's what's really happening.
Yeah, well, I know that that's the Microsoft party line, but to what degree is that not just the intent?
Right.
Forget about that BS about making anything more secure and just say, we don't want you outside of our playground.
For those that don't know, Media Monkey, the fact that I'm working with Media Monkey means that I am working outside a subscription model. I am trying to organize my own music, my own movies myself. I'm trying to store them locally on my own device. Just the fact that I would be using a program like that.
So fundamentally, you're a terrible person.
Right. I'm butting right up against their business model. And so ironically, and I haven't done it yet, I'm going to turn on my Windows 10 computer, but I would bet it works. Jim was running into a very similar kind of problem sharing files from a Windows 10 computer to a Windows 11 computer. He finally gave up on it. He said they just don't talk to each other. I suspect it's the same style problem. I suspect that MediaMonkey will work just fine under Windows 10, but under Windows 11 it's doing this garbage. And it has to do with putting controls in place, controlling the user experience, trying to nickel and dime the user for cloud services. I've never so quickly thought Linux was the solution, Richard.
Well,
now, the only reason Linux isn't the solution for my case is because I want to plug a cable into my phone and have MediaMonkey put songs in my phone. I can't do that under Linux. Linux will not handle all those different things because there isn't a Linux driver for my phone.
that's weird.
It is, but it won't. It won't do it.
I put MP3s on my iPhone.
In fact, you're not wrong because I'm looking at a different media player for my Linux computer specifically for this. I'm looking at Rhythmbox right now. But
I would look at Audacious. That's
okay.
what I use.
I'll look at that too. But Rhythmbox worked right from the get-go. It was doing everything right. It was seeing the files. It was allowing me to organize them.
Then don't listen to me one word.
Yeah. Well, the one thing it wasn't doing was it wasn't pulling up album art. So I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still looking into it. And what I was describing is using MediaMonkey. Because it's on Linux, it's running in bottles, right? It's running in wine in bottles. It's not able to get the songs to my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a whole bunch of tweaks to make it work.
Right.
But that's just the fact that it's doing I want the MediaMonkey stuff so that I can organize tracks that are unorganized. MediaMonkey does great things like moves tracks around, puts them in folders based on track names or vice versa. Names tracks based on folder names, things of that nature. When you're managing your own media and you have a variety of different devices, those devices all have different ways that they organize the music or the movies or whatever. And so MediaMonkey makes it easy to do that kind of organization. Something you don't have to do if you're just paying a subscription fee.
Right. So they've basically set up a situation where you're paying the subscription fee to avoid aggravation.
And Apple is no better. I am telling you right now, they have taken all the tools for managing your own media out of the operating system to the most rudimentary form. And so it is literally easier to sit down with your iPhone and get tracks off of a subscription service online than it is to get a track from the computer in front of you into the device that's in front of you. Windows is no better. Guys, we have reached the end of this meeting. I'm just ranting now. I'm happy to take any recommendations people would like to share with other people, but I think we're at the end here. I can't think of any other topics I felt like you guys needed to know about. You might look into this death of the personal computer. This has been mostly what we've been ranting about this last bit, Richard and I. Why Microsoft 365 isn't for you or me anymore. I think that's a little harsh. I still think it has some value, but in the end, you can see the direction. All of this is going towards corporate customers. They are not worried. Microsoft is not worried about us being happy with our computers anymore. We are not their main revenue flow. Anybody want to recommend something?
I found a new show that I'm enjoying. It's a series It's called The Cleaning Lady.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I think it might be an old one, but it's the one that keeps disappearing off of my Netflix, and then I have to do a few things, but it finally comes back on. So I've been able to do it. And I talked to you guys before about Person of Interest. Well, I finished all of the 6 seasons on Person of Interest, and it kept me interested all the way through and upset about technology and being watched and all that. But
I think the most upsetting thing about that is how old it is and how accurate it is for right now.
That's one of the scariest parts, you know. So HAL didn't get us as we thought might, but you know, it's just a scary thing.
The premise of person of interest is all this data is collected on everybody, and a personal group has decided to take it in their own hands to take out bad people based on this information. So you've got. Oh, go ahead, Cheryl. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it was designed basically to identify terrorists, and before they did anything terrorist-like. But it is then used to either save people that are in jeopardy or whatever. But the human element is there, and the human element stayed all the way through consistently. That there was always somebody that was saying, "Are we sure we want to do this? Are we sure this is what we want to follow the machine? Its instructions." So it did give you a little bit of hope.
Yeah, and absolutely, we didn't have this rise in AI awareness, but that's exactly what they would plug into this now. Is they would replace the human with an AI, and the AI would be determining what the next mission is.
But there's always going to have to be a human looking at that AI.
I understand, but seriously, Cheryl, do you believe that that hope is real or fantasy?
I want it to be real.
I didn't actually ask you whether you wanted it to be real. I take that as a given. Do you believe it is real?
I think we can continue to have hope that humans are going to be involved in making some decisions, and yeah, that hope is real.
Yeah, it may be the only regulation that we need, the only oversight we need is legislation that you can't move without a human being involved in the process. We might just have to boil it down to that.
Oh, I would think that that's completely inadequate, Mr. Stevenson.
Absolutely, but
completely inadequate as a model.
It's the lowest common denominator that we don't even have yet.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we were talking about hope, right? Yeah. The other thing, though, the cleaning lady, you know, talk about immigration, talk about ICE and the fear of being transported and kicked out of your country, and the things that it leads you to get involved in is quite topical, and it continues. I think Cleaning Lady's been around for a while, but I'm just kind of getting into it. So,
have you watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die?
No.
I think it's available on Prime. It's a Sam Rockwell. It's a lot of fun. It's about somebody that's like, I don't know, 20 years in the future coming back to save humanity. Very funny, but it deals with a lot of themes that we're dealing with right now, like smartphones and AI and things leading to the demise of humanity. And he's come to set that straight.
For a minute there, it sounded sort of like I was going to ask, is it like Resident Alien for comedy? And we like Resident Alien.
There is some absurdity stuff that's in it, but even the absurd stuff is, what's that, Mom? Even, you're still muted.
A lot of absurdity.
Yeah, because it's an absurd, fun comedy, but even the absurdity is all rooted in themes of where we are with technology right now.
So what's the first words in the title?
Good luck, have fun, don't die.
Okay. I'm searching on my Prime to see if it's in there.
It's also a fast-moving show, or movie. It doesn't take a break. So it's an action film, but a funny one.
New movie. Rent or buy?
Or Streamio.
Well, that'll be after I get home. I'll add it to my watch list and deal with it later. Speaking of going home, we will be on the road next Tuesday. We're packing up and on the road, driving past San Carlos sometime that day.
Well, we should do lunch or something.
The road, paying the toll. That's my job.
Tope spotter.
Tope spotter, I am.
Tope spotter. You're the navigator and toll pair.
Yes. Pass the sandwich, you know. And then Phoenix for a couple of days, on to New Mexico, and then I think might
All
be
right.
with Cunningham's Tuesday. I'll have to look up my schedule.
Well, none of you guys are here. I'm here until mid-May. That's my plan. I don't know if I need to keep doing in-person meetings, though. I don't know how long Jim and Christine are going to be joining us, but the rest, anybody else is making their way out of here.
I don't know if you want to come this way. It's snowing today.
Yes, it's snowing on our friends in Alberta, too. I just got a picture of my supposedly retired friend working on his son's now farm. He's got a calf on a sled taking it inside because it's just too bloody cold out there. And they had a whiteout. They couldn't even see the calves for a while, but they're in the middle of calving in snow.
Wow.
Wow.
What a weird world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
Literally, half of us are frozen, and the other are boiling.
Well, my mom's birthday comes up on April 22nd, and we always had a heavy, heavy spring storm for her birthday. So we're scheduled to pull into Alberta on the 25th. So we're going to go from extreme heat here today to having to have our jeans and coats on. So,
Yeah.
Put on our galoshes.
I was just storing away winter gear. To be
Yeah,
brought
Bill's
out
just
a month and a half from now to go up to Alaska for summer.
yeah. When do you take off up to there? Like, when are you headed?
Mid-May. I actually still haven't gotten the tickets yet, but it'll be sometime in mid-May. Mid to the
Hey,
end of May.
Scott,
Yeah.
what are you going to do about Bibiana's graduation?
I'm missing it. Both Emily and I are missing it.
Oh.
Yeah. We just,
That's in June?
yeah, it's the end of June. End of June. They're going to have to send us video. We just don't live that kind of lifestyle. We can't afford to fly all the way back to Mexico for... It's too bad, but yeah. She understands. We've talked about it. And Yuya will be here. And we'll be live streamed too. That's the plan.
The wonders of technology. You'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there in internet bits.
Life's challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've pretty much gone through all of my topics. I don't think there's anything else here.
Congratulations, son.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm still in lockdown mode, but I still haven't done the photo sharing thing. So I'll get to that this week sometime and share it.
Yeah,
other
because
than
that's
the-
the one I'm not going to look at until I know that my photos are actually going to be there on both of our
But I have
devices.
to work out this authentication issue because that could be a problem in any given app. It doesn't have to be the one app I'm trying to use. It could be any app that uses that style of authentication. Banks and financial apps are notorious for needing to be re-authenticated fairly often. So even if you got it going through some means, it may break again later. And so it's a question of how inconvenient that is, how often you have to get it going again.
My account is one of the ones that are communication thing. It's Shaw, owned by Rogers now in Canada, but it's the TV, internet, and telephone in our home. And my account, along with others, have basically disconnected themselves from the phone and the TV. So I can see what's going on with my internet, and from a distance, I usually can get my voicemail messages and all these kind of things, and I can't anymore. My login does not work. For 2 weeks, it didn't work to even see my account, and I had an issue with my payment card, so I was trying to see what was going on. And I've been on the phone with different people all over Canada. Some in the east, some in the west, and they keep saying, we understand there's a problem. We'll get to it. And now the billing has come up, so I can see my billing, but I still can't access my phone or my TV. So I have been unable to log in on my TV apps using my subscription that I pay for. So now we're going to be talking about reimbursing me all of the fees that I paid for the last month. So that's the next discussion with them.
Oh, fun. Yeah, we had a thing I thought I'd mention. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but Emily went to New York. We were concerned about her using her debit card and having access to it. And she was having trouble getting into her application. And so we called our credit union, and she said, I'm going to New York. I'm worried that I might lose access to my card. And they told her, oh, you don't need to call in ahead anymore. We just do it, and we'll send you a text message, and if you say it's not you, then we shut down your card.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. You don't have to worry about planning ahead, at least
Except that sometimes those text messages don't come through. Like, for example, if you turn off your Canada phone and you're not getting text messages on that one,
right?
And they don't send it to the US one, so it doesn't always work.
And
our bank cards this year have really given us issue. I know that the banks were having a problem with distributing American funds and American banks and stuff. But in Mexico, we have two different kinds of cards. We have a debit card, or we have a debit Visa. So it's a debit attached to Visa or MasterCard. So it's a credit card, debit card combination.
Yeah, it's a checking card through Visa. Yeah.
If we use Bill's debit card, a bunch of the bank machines refuse. They will not use it. They will not use it. If I use my debit Visa card, it makes it as a Visa transaction. The fees are different and the exchange rate is different. So it pisses me off that our bank is not issuing debit cards that actually work as debit cards.
I haven't had that experience where there is Visa fees associated with a debit transaction.
Well, it doesn't say that it's fees, but the exchange rate is definitely different. The fee structure on the bank account is the same, whether it was a Visa debit or a debit. But Bill and I noticed when we used my card, the exchange rate was not as good as when we used his debit card.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I tried to explain that to the bank, and they said, oh, no, there's no difference. But if you look at the fine print on your Visa card, it tells you that foreign transactions will be made in such and such daily rate plus.
Well, you know, another thing, as long as we're complaining about bank cards and not coming up with any solutions to them, I've got a BBV debit Visa card now because I got one of those bank accounts here locally, and I can't use it without the application on the phone providing me with the dynamic security code. So every time I go to do a transaction with it, the 3 digits that you typically find on a signature strip do not exist. They only exist in the application in my phone. So it'd be very easy to be in a circumstance where you want to use the card but can't because you don't have access to the phone.
Yeah, it's just baffling. You know, these are supposed to make things convenient. Use the app. That's the other thing where I started with my Shaw account. The app, I could go into the app. I could turn on call forwarding. I could hear my voicemail messages. I could do it all on there. But now that I can't, it doesn't show up in the app anymore, and I can't access it anywhere online. So.
Well, I think we need to bring this to an end. This has been, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm so glad that we're all so entertained with each other that we could hang out for 2 hours with each other.
It's been
and I
great
expect
seeing
to see you guys next week. What's that,
okay,
Cheryl?
Check on.
Check on, guys. Hasta próximo.
Have a good week.
You too, Fred. Living the life in Costa Rica. All right, that was our meeting. That was full of topics. As you can see, my in-person is not full of people. It was just me, Christine, and Jim, but it was nice of them to show up and have breakfast with me. Everything was online this time. Everybody was online this time. I suspect that's how our meetings are going to be going forward until we hit next season when I come back from Alaska. Well, until next Tuesday, everybody have a good week. This is Semana Santa. It's Holy Week. Our town has just been ravaged by young people here on vacation, and now everything's settled down. I'm going to go back out into it and go do some work. Hasta la próxima meeting. Until then, tech on.